looks like Brady, and now it looks like Belichick.
How do they do that?
Because magic and, I mean, just it's the Legos.
How do you do that with Legos? I don't understand.
I'll explain it to you after.
That's the same way they did them with them footballs. One time they was this, and next time they was that.
Jenna, you're so confused.
Just regular Legos like our kids have? Mm-hmm. Mom, mine don't do that.
Well, their mom doesn't do it either, evidently.
Okay.
But that was, I mean, that's great artwork.
That was
well
awesome.
done, kids.
Explain it to me in the break.
I'll try.
Time for stories to start your morning. Also, Seinfeld. The Warriors reminded everyone they are the Golden State Warriors last night. They crushed the Denver Nuggets 142-111. Katie, Steph, and Clay combined for 89 points, and the team set an NBA record with 51 first-quarter points. Nick, when the team is playing like this, how big is the gap between the Warriors and the rest of the league?
Same gap it's been the last 3 years, and that's before they had Boogie Cousins, which is insurmountable is the gap. Like, evidently, one team has had them past 5 games in the playoffs. That was the Rockets last year. This Nuggets team, that was supposed to be the Rockets this year, right? The team that didn't have that high of expectations going into the season, then boom, there they are. And then the Warriors were just like, no, when our top 3 guys are hitting shots, no one can beat us.
Yeah, that's what one team was about hope. Denver, best record in the West and everything. Oh, they're going to give Golden State a battle this year. The NBA, maybe we're hoping someone battled. That's what hope looks like. Focus looked like what Golden State. Champion, focus, because that's what 51 in the first quarter. I thought it was the NBA All-Star game. The way they score points, score the basketball. There's no hope for the rest of the NBA. And the Warriors will be focused enough to be able to get that championship.
All right, let's talk some Lakers now. Some good news and bad news for this team. Bad news first. Let's start bad. Okay. LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, said LeBron is out for at least the next 2 games. The good news? Well, the Lakers won last night. They beat the Bulls 107-100. Nick, what do you make of the Lakers without LeBron in the lineup?
I mean, I'm glad they didn't lose back-to-back games to the Cavs and the Knicks. That would have been Cavs and the Bulls, pardon me. That would have been horrible. But the reality is LeBron's going to miss the OKC and the Houston game, and I've been told the Golden State game as well. They will go 0-3, and even if he comes back for the Minnesota game, they'll be 10th in the West. They're going to have some work to do when he comes back.
You don't want to come back in that Warriors game. I think Boogie Cousins is coming back Friday, Jenna. So not only those Warriors that we saw, Boogie Cousins. So LeBron, the injury is significant. The other players not developing why he was there. I think that ultimately it will affect their season. When he got hurt, 4th in the West. Now 8th. Tied for 8th, could be 12th by the end of the week. Yeah.
All right, back to the NFL. It seems Cam Newton's shoulder injury is worse than originally suspected. Panthers owner David Tepper isn't ruling out Newton missing the entire season next year, saying we've got to make sure we have our options open in all ways possible just in case. See, what was your reaction to this?
I'm going to try not to overreact like I believe that the owner he's a first-time owner. He was a minority owner in the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have only heard from him a few times in him owning the team for the first year. I believe he made a mistake in saying that the potential of Cam Newton being out the year. I think he might have overreacted to it. I know through covering the team and being there in Carolina when they played Cleveland late in the season that Cam was struggling with a significant injury to his shoulder. And he has spent an extensive amount of time trying to rehab it. I'm hoping that Cam will be ready by training camp. But if not, I don't think there is a backup plan when you have the type of contract that Cam has. I don't believe they can get a high-priced veteran to come in part-time.
And hopefully they won't need a backup plan. And I think the owner, it seemed like the moment he opened the door that Cam could miss the year, he tried to slam it shut, but it was already out there. But learn from the Colts and Andrew Luck and what they did and what they didn't do. Whatever the process is, don't skip steps. Don't rush it. Don't make an injury that derailed last season, derail future seasons as well. Take as much time as you need to get fully healthy, because the Panthers' only shot is a healthy Cam Newton.
Moving on, a lot of talk about Antonio Brown's future for the way the Steelers season ended, with him not playing in their last game because he walked out of practice their last week. Seems unlikely he'll be back with the Steelers. Jerry Wright says AB wants to be with the 49ers. And now Bruce Arians, Tampa's new head coach, says he sees, quote, too much diva in the star wide receiver. CeCe, what challenges does AB bring to a locker room?
Well, probably the biggest challenge is, depending where he goes, happens to be the credibility of the head coach. Because the head coach is going to tell the players, hey, I'm going to treat you all the same. And that's the one thing that they have going in New England, that Tom Brady can be chastised just as much as anyone. You can bring up bad plays on him, and there's not going to be a problem. Other NFL locker rooms, it's not that way. So I believe that it's important that the message of the head coach becomes very, very consistent. Now, I do think when we talk about players, when we talk about potential attitude or things like that, that I think that we have not necessarily looked at the NFL locker room and understood the type of people in the NFL locker room. Because with the type of characters, I believe that there's a message out there that people think that, man, the NFL locker room's like a nunnery or something. Like, oh, you can't bring someone in there, they'll ruin the chemistry. The locker room's crazy in the NFL. You're talking about at least 60 guys, all different backgrounds, religious beliefs, culture differences, all those things, music that they listen to, how they're going to go about doing their job. They're totally different. So it's hard for a wide receiver to disrupt a locker room unless he goes after the quarterback. T.O., when he went after the quarterback, that's how you disrupt the locker room. A.B. didn't disrupt the locker room in Pittsburgh when he decided to show off in practice, when he decided to not come. No, he didn't do that because he didn't upstage the quarterback and stuff in front of the team. Now, when you have problems with the quarterback, it becomes a locker room problem. So I just believe sometime we think that locker room is, so
you think the thing that AB did that was most disruptive was the dispute with Ben Roethlisberger in the practice leading into the Week 17 game that then led to him not showing up the last couple days of the week?
Yes, absolutely. That was the most important. That's what caused him not to come to work.
So that is because I think you make a great point.
Because people were shocked when they said, oh, he didn't come to work. Oh, that's happened in the NFL before. We just don't let the news get out there that he wasn't at practice. And we didn't know AB wasn't at practice until it boiled over, until after the game.
We found out after the game.
Yes.
We thought it was dealing with an injury is why he didn't play. And so it's an interesting point you make on what actually is in an NFL locker room. And it's one of the reasons why when there are certain issues and we talk about certain guys having character problems or certain guys being distractions, that I think some of the guys who have played the game or coached the game roll their eyes a bit. Because you got 53 guys, let's practice squad, call it 60 guys. There's 4 or 5 of them that are nuts. There's at least 2 or 3 you wouldn't let be at your house by themselves. That is just the reality of, tell me if you think I'm being unfair or if you think I'm being disparaging. I think that is from everything from my experience covering teams and my experience talking to people who play in the league. Like that is, you just know you're going to get a mix of that. The concern with Antonio Brown is every locker room also has 4 or 5 leaders, either because they want to be, or because they are paid as such, or because their play makes it to where people are going to look to them. Antonio, because of his salary, even though it's manageable at $12 million per year moving forward, and because he's a superstar, whether he wants to be or not, will be a leader. And will he be a positive leader or a negative leader? That's where the coach has a major impact. And Bruce Arians, who commented on him but didn't seem to slam the door on them bringing him there, Bruce Arians has a relationship with him. Bruce Arians is maybe one of the coaches that if he does slam the door on it, it'd be bad for AB, because one of the coaches who thinks I can reach him. I know this player. I think he's a perfect fit in San Francisco, the discussion yesterday. But how much would AB change if he needs to with Kyle Shanahan, who has I don't think he's proven anything as an NFL head coach. He's a very good play caller and designer of offenses. And so are you fine with acquiring Antonio Brown, the exact guy he was in Pittsburgh? Is it
because
worth?
You have to be, because you can't bring a guy in and say he'll be. The Bill Belichick effect doesn't work with any of the other teams, where he'll get here, he'll see that our culture is this, that, and the other thing, and he'll change because he wants to get on the same page. You have to assume, as Mangini always says, you're bringing in the guy that he was. If he happens to change, well, that's for your benefit.
You definitely have to assume the worst, but you have to. Most coaches will tell you, "I'm gonna give you a clean slate," but it's not like I didn't do my research. You know, like, I mean,
that's on you.
Absolutely. But you have to know what you're getting yourself into. And I just believe AB, with the contract that he has, which is very enticing for a team, 2nd or 3rd rounder, to be able to trade for him and to inherit that type of contract for a superstar player. So he will be coveted on free agency because you know you can probably get him without giving up a #1 pick.
So that's the second time you've said that. I just want to real quick, because I know we have to move on, follow up on that. You don't think that it's going to take a #1 pick at least to get Antonio Brown?
No, because of his age.
And the baggage?
Yeah, there's real baggage there. Yeah,
okay.
When the Pittsburgh Steelers give up on you, yes, absolutely.
Wow. All right, so I've been operating under that it's going to take a 1 and something. And if you're
well, because you're just trying to go off to Amari Cooper.
Yes.
And because it was in the season, the pressure of the season. You're in the off season now. Man, you got 2, 3. Man, they throw those picks around. So I believe a second and a third. That's what it's gonna be the trade market for him.
Then every team should have that meeting. Every team in the league for that level of compensation, if that's correct, has to have the real conversation of, even if he is the same guy, 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns, 100 catches a year, man, if you can get him for a second-round pick, every team in the league should think about it.
Steelers didn't want him. Steelers don't seem to want him.
We'll see.
All right, time now for Nick's favorite part of the show. Nick makes the list.
I forgot we were doing this.
Oh, I'm sure you did. 4 great quarterbacks playing this weekend, 2 all-timers, and 2 young guns. But CC always says it's not just about the quarterbacks. Nick, who are the most important non-quarterbacks to their teams this weekend?
All right, I'm going to go from 8 to 1. Number 8, Cameron Jordan, the best pass rusher on the Saints. I think the best front 7 defender, and they just lost Sheldon Rankins for the season, for the playoff run. Cam Jordan's going to have to get effective pressure on Jared Goff. Number 7, Julian Edelman, a third down threat, a guy that ate up the Chiefs in their first matchup, converting third downs, keeping the sticks moving, Tom Brady's favorite target. Number 6, Chris Jones. If you're going to get pressure on Tom Brady, it has to be up the middle. They do not allow pressure off the edge. So while the Patriots focus on Dee Ford and Justin Houston, Chris Jones up the middle. Number 5, the best player offensively on the Rams, Todd Gurley. He's going to have a monster game. I do not think you can rely on C.J. Anderson for the 4th straight week to have a great game. Number 4, Sony Michel. The Patriots have gone as Sony has gone this year. As far as when he has 100-plus yards, they are absolutely unbeatable. Number 3, Aaron Donald, the Defensive Player of the Year. How much pressure can he get on Drew Brees? And then top 2 guys are wide receivers. Michael Thomas, who dominated this matchup the first time around and then dominated the divisional round of the playoffs, and Tyreek Hill, who had 3 touchdowns the first time around and has been big in every big game for the Chiefs. Those are 8 through 1, biggest 8 players of the division.
I got a huge problem. Travis Kelce not being there, he's going to be dominant because they're going to be bumping him every time off the line of scrimmage. And I don't know where the mayor is.
Who's the mayor?
Alvin Kamara. The mayor. I mean, I don't know, because he has the best matchup of anyone this weekend.
That's not. I thought the one you were going to take issue with is I don't have Dante Hightower out there, and I know.
Well, I mean, the show only lasts so much, and I can only beat up on you so much.
Okay.
I mean, you're lighter complected, you bruise easy, so I gotta be careful. You know.
My issue is that week in and week out, when you make these lists, you sit with a spilled cup of coffee, you place it right on top of your list, and then you say, okay, we're good to go.
Yeah.
Every week, that same coffee stain.
Absolutely right. It's not showing up on camera right now, America, but trust us, there's a coffee stain there. It's a nice little attention to detail. Don't worry about it, Jenna Wolf.
Great list, Nick. Love it. Got to take a break. Coming up, can Jason Garrett bring his Super Bowl back to Dallas? Next on First Things First. We're going to take this list in a little.
I would encourage tomorrow we could do CC's list.
No, I've been doing TV 16 years without doing lists. You've been TV 16 minutes, and I make a list. I'm the smartest guy in TV. Give me a list.